Hey guys, it's Bub here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install macOS Sonoma 14 inside of VMware Workstation. Now you may notice that we are already inside of macOS Big Sur. There are a few reasons for this, and I'm going to go over some of the disclaimers of this video right now. The first disclaimer is I have no clue how this is going to run on AMD computers or 11th or 12th gen Intel CPUs. I say this because first of all, AMD was never officially supported for macOS, so try to virtualize at your own risk. Second of all, I know in the Hackintosh world that 11th, 12th, and 13th gen Intel processors were never officially supported by macOS, as the last Intel processor that Apple supported was 10th generation before they switched to the M1 architecture. So with that being said, that is the first compatibility warning. My computer has an i7-10700K with 32 gigs of RAM, so we're good on that front. Number two, I could not find a good macOS Sonoma ISO anywhere on the internet, so this method of getting Sonoma inside of VMware Workstation is actually going to involve upgrading from macOS Big Sur. 2 years ago in April of 2021, I created a macOS Big Sur install guide on how to get Big Sur in VMware, so I definitely recommend checking out that video and then coming back to this one. So I'll let you, if you don't have Big Sur in a VM, go look at that video, follow that guide exactly, and get to this Big Sur desktop. Once you're in the Big Sur desktop, you're going to want to go ahead and open Safari. And you're going to want to go to this OSX Daily website, which is downloading the full macOS Sonoma Beta installer. All you got to do is scroll down and you'll see download install assistant.pkg from macOS Sonoma Beta 2. When you click on that, what you're going to get is you're going to get a .pkg file. That .pkg file is going to be about 12 gigabytes, and it is going to contain the entire Sonoma app installer, which is what you would typically get from Apple if you were on the beta program. For me, I already installed this app, so we're going to go ahead and quit this app, and here it is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this install assistant.pkg file, and we're going to run through this installer. This is like any macOS installer install, and then go ahead and enter your VM password. And all this is going to do, this is going to take maybe 10 seconds at the most. It's going to put that macOS Sonoma.app file inside of your applications folder, as we can see right here. Now, if you followed my Big Sur guide, you'll know that this Mac thinks it is a 2017 MacBook Pro, MacBook Pro 14,3. The problem with having a MacBook Pro 14,3 is it doesn't officially support macOS Sonoma, so when we try to open that installer, it's not going to work. So what we have to do is we have to shut down our virtual machine and then modify in the VMX file that board ID and that SMBIOS version. So open the VM directory, find the VMX file, and open it in Notepad. We have to find those flags that we added when we created the Big Sur VM. And as we can see, here is our HW model and our board ID. Now you may be saying, well, what do we replace these with? Mr. Macintosh actually has a very good website here on a list of every Mac board ID, every device ID, anything you'll need for this exact guide. So for me, I know that a MacBook Pro is going to work pretty well. So I believe what I is you're going to want to go with probably a 13-inch 2020 or a 16-inch late 2019. I know that the 16,2 combo works because I tested this. So you're going to replace with HW model. Replace that with MacBook Pro 16,2 and then the associated board ID on this website. So replace the one that's in here with that one and save it. Once you save that, make sure that it saves. You can close the VMX file, you can close your internet browser, and reboot the macOS 14 VM. What that did is we're now basically tricking this virtual machine into thinking that it is a 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro versus, the 2017 MacBook Pro that it thought it was. Another thing I should mention is if you're noticing this video is a little bit laggy, it is because I do not have VMware Tools installed inside of the VM. I would not recommend installing VMware Tools just yet, as I'm not sure what it will do during the upgrade. I have not tested what happens when you try to upgrade with VMware Tools already installed, but just for safety, I have not installed them. Alright, and now that our Sonoma VM has been reinstalled, if I can enter our password correctly, we're going to go ahead and log in and notice that our system information has been updated to be a 2020 MacBook Pro. And we can verify this, if you're wondering, by simply opening System Information and verifying that under Hardware, it does in fact say the model identifier that you entered. Once you've verified that, and once you verified that you do in fact have that application inside of your applications folder, we can now open the macOS Sonoma Beta installer. Now keep in mind that this is a beta application that you are virtualizing on a Windows machine. So if something doesn't work, please do not go in the comments and say, oh my god, this doesn't work. You are doing something that on Apple's terms is completely cursed and shouldn't even be done just because it's beta software on a Windows computer. Two things that don't go together. So once we agree to the license terms, we're going to see that this wants to be installed on the disk Sonoma. Continue and enter our password, and that is it. At this point, it is just playing the waiting game of going through this and waiting for macOS Sonoma to be installed. So I will be back. What's going to happen if you've never updated a real Mac is this is going to go through this part of the setup. It won't actually take 57 minutes. It didn't when I did my test run. It's going to reboot, and it's going to show the Apple logo with a bar under it, kind of like if you've ever updated your iPhone. And it's going to say probably like 20-30 minutes remaining on that screen. So there's two stages. You have your GUI experience right here in the Big Sur VM. Then you have it where it's going to reboot and update itself that way. So I'll be back once that reboot stage is done. Alright, and here we are after the upgrade. So we're going to go ahead and enter our login. We can obviously tell we're on macOS Sonoma from the desktop as well as the timer on that was a little strange. Alright, cool. So, as you can tell, this is obviously very buggy. Probably because we're running beta software inside of a virtual machine. Do I recommend this? No. Would VMware tools possibly fix the kernel panicking issue? Maybe if you can get in far enough and install VMware tools. Yesterday I did actually have the kernel panic problem until I got in and installed VMware tools. So with that being said, I know this is a very painful method and it may produce unreliable results. It could just be my hardware. It could be because I'm not on VMware Workstation 17. There are a number of factors that could be causing the kernel panic. However, this is a mileage may vary type of deal. Do I recommend installing macOS 14? No, because it is still in a beta phase. I wouldn't even recommend installing it on a real Mac. I would just recommend staying on macOS 13. Alright, and so after 2 reboots, I'm not seeing any kernel panics. So after, like I said, 2 reboots, I was able to get VMware tools installed, and that was it. I have been running this for about 10 minutes now, and it is not crashed yet. It says it's a MacBook Pro, Sonoma 14. I cannot figure out how to get the display to be a higher resolution. If I recall correctly from Big Sur, there was some sort of command you had to run to get it to work properly. But if we go under displays, we can see that that is the only resolution available. I mean, we could technically free stretch it, but that doesn't look too good. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe if you're new around here, as I do all kinds of different technology videos, including device restorations. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.